Welcome to C.HR with Ariaunstewart. Today we have an amazing guest, Kim Prada here.
Hey,
She's
everyone.
going to be talking to us about her business, Try Bites, and everything she does with that and how it's been growing over the last year and a half or so. So if you want to just take a moment to introduce yourself.
Hi everyone, my name is Kim Prada. I am the owner of Try Bites LLC. I am 23 years old, raised in Springfield, and I am just trying to provide a healthier snacking alternative to the snacks that we currently eat today. And that is my goal with Try Bites, but also building a tribe within the community as well.
Awesome. So what brought you to creating this? Is this something that you were already making in your spare time? Was it business oriented from the beginning?
So originally I was not doing this full time. I was a stay-at-home mom originally, and I was just making these snacks after I had my baby because I was just eating really crazy. I was eating chips, ice cream, anything you can name it, especially it's harder if you're breastfeeding because your blood sugar and all this stuff.
Yeah.
So I wanted to have a healthier snacking alternative for myself because I just didn't like how other snacks made me feel.
Yeah.
At that time, I was roommating with a couple other people, and I was making it for basically everyone, and they were just like, oh, you should probably sell these, but that was not my main focus. My main focus was my child. But then, tougher times came, and then me and my daughter's father, we didn't work out, so I ended up moving back with my mom, and COVID ended up hitting because I had a part-time job as well, and I was like, okay, well, I'm gonna revert back to my roots of making these bites, and like I was saying, while everyone was getting these TVs with their stimulus check, I ended up getting my licensing, my LLC, and from there, I was just getting an immense amount of support from everyone, especially during COVID time. During that time, I know it wasn't the greatest for everybody, but for me, it was an elite year because that's why I ended up naming my business Tribe, because I was feeling a tribe-like atmosphere within everyone supporting me. And I remember, people just knew me as someone who sold these bites, but I didn't have a name for them. So I was just I don't know what name, I don't know. And then one day it kind of just clicked, and I was like, these people are really supporting me as if, they're my tribe, and they're supporting me as if they're my blood, and they're not. And that's why I ended up sticking with the name Tribe.
Awesome. Yeah, no, Try Bites. I love that. And then it's it's a healthy alternative, like you said, for a snack. And I love that you got relatively quickly into legitimizing the business. Some people take years to do that. What pushed you to say okay, let me take the time to do this with a LLC and a business? What made you want to put that at the beginning?
I felt it was going to be more of a better outlook for me and my business, especially since I was going to go all in or nothing. It was either, hey, Kim, you have to get either a full-time job or, if you want to pursue this and have, make time yours, then you have to go all in. And I knew that, when I was already selling it on the side, people, of course, supported me, but I was like, what if I want to grow the business and I want to get my bites in other places? People are gonna say, hey, do you have a license? Do you have a wholesale license?
Right. When the opportunities come up, you want to be ready.
And all of that, I was just self-taught with everything. I didn't know, just YouTube and Google, asking other people, and they were just you should get your licensing so that people know that you're serious. And that's what I did. And I didn't want the money to go to waste, the money that was getting given to us. And I was I can either spend this on miscellaneous things or I can just better my future for me and my daughter. So that's what I did.
I love it. And I know you were telling me about sometimes she's getting to see this business side of you. You said she's 3 years old, right? And I think that's awesome. You're going to give her that influence. You can do it on your own and you get to spend all that quality time with her.
Yeah.
So that's awesome. That's really cool. And then do you want to talk a little bit about your marketing? So it sounds like you had a lot of word of mouth, people that knew you for this, but how have you gone about with your website and your social media and how you market?
So I knew that my social media, I wanted it to be eye-catching, but not all over the place. So I went with a sleek look, which is black. So I love the color black. And I was just something about black makes it more appealing and eye-catching. But also with my Instagram, I try to make it so that the pictures are mainly about the product so that people notice it, but also share with them I have pictures of me and my daughter in there. Or sometimes I share some transparency about what we go through or how to get the business like that. And I feel if you're authentic with like your business and what it really is, then that is also eye-catching to people as well too. With my website, I had to seek help for that. Like I have a friend who, she was already doing like my graphic work, but then she was doing websites as well. And my friend Debbie, I wanted to just make it more appealing because I can't do things like all on my own. And I was just caring so much, and I'm just like, you know, like I'm a one woman team and this and that. And then I was like, no, like I have to humble myself and seek help so that way can get lifted up. But like we're not meant to be on this world alone. So I was just like, let me just use my resources like my tribe and stuff and just actually seek help for that. So just mainly eye-catching with the product, making it look appealing, and also sharing some of my personal life as well, because if it wasn't for like my daughter, I wouldn't do any of this. You wouldn't be doing this. I would not.
And I think, you know, when I look at your website and your social media, I can definitely see that it's like, it's kind of like a lifestyle brand, right? Like you said, even with coming up with the idea of doing it was so that you can be healthier, have healthier snacks, so that what you were producing for your daughter is even better. So I get that altogether. What are some of the nutritional benefits of like going with the Try Power Bites versus like, say like a bag of chips or something you might grab from the store real quick?
So the good thing is that I make my bites with either 7 ingredients or less, right? Okay. So a lot of the products that you see in store, or if you get like a protein bar or anything, there are a bunch of ingredients that you can't even, sometimes you can't even read it. Don't know what and if you can't read it, you should not put it in your body. So I'm definitely not like a nutritionist or anything, but I do know what's better for my body, and I do know like how I react better to my body, right? And obviously everyone is different, but you know, the facts are the facts. Like if you can read it, you should put it in your body. I would say definitely what's inside of it. So all my bites, they contain like oats, a peanut butter. It could be peanut butter, or if you're like allergic or you want to sub it, it would be some type of nut butter, honey, vanilla, and then whatever add-in you want to put in for your flavor. So I would say you have benefits from that, especially if there's flax seeds in it, because I have flax and chia sometimes, depending on what flavor you get. But those are really good sources of healthy fats and healthy foods for you.
And what you were saying about like if there's peanut butter but you're allergic, you can sub it. So would you make like special batches for somebody based on what their needs are?
So I do that. I have custom orders. Like usually some people, they're allergic to peanut butter, or like if they're gluten-free, that's another thing. So I like to be accommodating to everyone, because we're not all the same. So I know that in life, like some things are like a one-size-fits-all, and I don't want that to be with my protein bites. So
who has inspired you the most, like as you've been like moving into the business world and networking? Who's been an inspiration to you?
That's a good question. I mean, could it be my daughter? I don't know.
Of course.
Does it have to be someone in business?
I mean, if you have someone in business, but if it's your daughter, then that's awesome, because that's what's motivating you to like get up and keep pushing every day.
I would say it would be my daughter. I have to think about like if it's an adult in like business, because there's so many like inspirations,
people out there.
But definitely my daughter. Like before I had my daughter, I did not know what I wanted to do with life, right? So I had graduated high school, and I knew school wasn't for me. I knew that like I would have so much anxiety like throughout high school and middle school. Like I always had anxiety like when it came to that, because I felt that, you know, the school system had me like a one-size-fits-all thing, and I'm like, no, like I don't feel that way. So you know, my mom was like, you should go to college, or you should do this, and I was like, okay, I'm just gonna take a year off and work and then see what I want to do. A year came and I still didn't know what I wanted to do, so I kept working. And I ended up, I went to school for like a semester, and then I found out that I was pregnant. And I was kind of happy, because I was just like, oh, okay, like now I can figure out what I actually want to do, like and take this time to actually know that. But then give my best to my daughter, you know. And I wanted to take like not so much of a negative situation, but just try to shift it into being positive, because you know like people get pregnant or have kids and they think it's the end of the world, right? For me, I felt like it was just the beginning of everything, because having her showed me so much more clarity and just so much purpose, really, like just grinding it out, and like, you know, because I want to give her something that I didn't have. Like my mom, she was a single mom of 4. She was always working all the time, so like my siblings kind of raised me in a sense, and you know, I wanted to be really attentive to Mia, my daughter Mia. And after that, like she she was just really the star of everything because it just gave me more of a purpose to grind harder to provide for her and for me. So definitely her for sure.
Yeah, that's awesome. And then you said your mom originally wanted you to go to school, and now she sees what you're doing. How do you feel about that?
So definitely it shifted. Like she wanted me to go to school, but then she saw that like, oh, okay, like this could be something big for her. And
absolutely.
So she's definitely super supportive. She watches my daughter a lot most of the time when I have to like do deliveries or if I have an event. Like she is my go-to for that. So I really appreciate her. At first I would say that she didn't know if this was going to be like sustainable, right? Like sustainable income, because I was living with her for a bit like after my situation. And then once she saw that like people were supporting me so much that I was able to move out and have my own place because of like my business, then she was like, you know, I'm gonna definitely like support you all in. And she, you know, she has her own life, but she still takes time out to help me, and that's what I really appreciate for sure.
Yeah, that tribe. It's part of the tribe. You need it. But that's awesome. So you were able to move out and start like your own life with your daughter off of this business during COVID. Yeah, that's crazy.
I think about that. It's just so crazy because there were a lot of nights where I was just like begging God, like, when is it gonna be my turn? Like, why don't I have a job, a car, like money and all these things? And every little money that I had, I saved it because I knew that the vision was bigger than my circumstance, right? So I just I saved all that money, and then people were supporting me like abundantly, and then I was like, you know what, now's the time. Like I always kept thinking, when is it going to be my time to leave? But then once I saw that the opportunity was there, I was like, I'm going to take it, and I'm just going to figure it out, like, because I really wanted like something for me and Mia. Like I wanted our own place. I was tired of like hopping from home to home and like helping and stuff. So after that, like, life has been like amazing. Like I have not felt like just so grateful in such a long time, because I go home and like it's mine. Like I worked for this, and people like who don't really know me, they support me and they love me, and not even on a personal level too. So it's just like crazy to know that there's like still really good people out there willing to put their needs aside to put someone else's needs outside.
Exactly.
So.
And then have you vended at events or anything like that?
Yes. So I mean, I like found a love for pop-ups and like vending, because before I think I had just did it like once, and then I was like, oh, this is like kind of overwhelming because I just didn't feel comfortable. But then once I knew that like I worked hard to like be where I'm at, and then you gain that confidence, I was just like, this is fun. Like I'm gonna do events as much as I can, as often, and so I just did like 4 this month alone, which that's a lot for me because usually I used to do like once every few months or whatever. And this time I was just like, no, I'm gonna do more than one. I love seeing people in person. That's like number one, because people order from the site, and there's some people that I don't even know. And then when they come to like my event, they're like, yeah, I just ordered from your site, and I was just like, it's really nice to see you in person. Like I love your customers, because you get to see like the vibe, and then just really connecting with people. And that's like one of my passions, is just like humanity, like socialism. Like I just love talking to people. And
I think it's cool that like your name includes, because a lot of people when they come up with their brand, they try to think about later on how do they incorporate their customer into the brand, but the fact that you have it as like Try Power Bites like brings them in from the beginning, which is really cool. So from a food vendor perspective, because I know I've worked with a lot of different vendors who do food, and it can be hard because you might not know how many people are going to be there, but like what is the shelf life of your product, and does that make it easier for you to go there with a large batch and then sell, not knowing?
Yeah, so my shelf life is, it could be either 2 to 3 weeks in the fridge, or you could have it 4 months in the freezer, right? So that is what helps a lot, because that's really like what you were saying, I don't know how many people are going to be at this event, but so I usually over prepare myself in case like I sell out, because I've learned probably my second event where I did sell out, I was like, okay, now I have to just double this amount. But then, you know, if I need to, I can freeze it or I can keep it refrigerated. But typically all the time, like, everything's just always fresh, and I just always bring, like, typically everything fresh.
Awesome. And it's a quick, easy thing to get. Like, it's not like when people are ordering, like, a whole meal or anything. It's like, no, I know I can grab this snack and I can save it for later. So that's awesome. So have you heard any stories from your customers, like, about like how they enjoy your product, if they bring how it affects their life, and does it make it a little easier for them or anything like that?
Yeah, so I think that's like my favorite is because I would
Reactions.
get just a bunch of like text messages or Instagram messages or emails, and I'll just be like, oh, like what's this? And then I see like usually people start off, they're like, Kim, and then they put like a bunch of exclamation points, and I'm like, oh, what happened or whatever, and then I'm just like, they're like, oh, like these bites are amazing. It's always typically the same feedback too.
Yeah.
And I don't know, that to me fills my heart because it makes me feel like I'm doing something right, and also that people are enjoying what I'm making. So I never really like believed in myself for certain things, and just knowing that I came up from like nothing, that is just like super, super cool. So I really like that.
What advice would you give to someone who's starting out, like they have something that they're making and they want to turn it into a business? What advice would you give them?
I would say it's all in the mindset. So definitely the mindset, because that's what has gotten me like to keep pushing, because there's not that I have this positive mindset all the time, but it really has to be like, where is your mindset? What are you feeding your mind? Because then that's going to pour onto everything that you do.
Absolutely.
Right? So definitely, like, work out if you need to work out. Listen to a podcast. Like, do something positive for yourself so that can pour onto your work. And that people will notice it because it's illuminating from, like, within out. Yeah. So that's what I would say, your mindset.
Awesome. I love it. And I think it's just amazing, like, in this area, like, between just Western Mass in general, Connecticut, too. Like, I'm seeing a huge influx of people who are working on healthy food, healthy snacks, like, and I think that's an amazing movement. How has, like, focusing on your health impacted your life overall?
So I would say after I had my daughter, definitely as a mom, like any moms out there, it's everyone knows it's hard. Like, I mean, being a non-mom and being a mom, they're both really hard, but
it's a whole different level of responsibility though.
And you're adjusting to a new body, I would say. So before, like, I used to complain before and I was like 110, and now like I'm 145, and I'm like I'm loving the skin that I am in now, because I didn't have stretch marks like that before. I didn't have like like a pouch, like a kangaroo pouch and stuff. So I was just like looking at myself and just knowing that I created like a whole human being. So I try to give myself grace on that, and then also I'm like, I can't get my body right back round, like, so what can I do for myself? I can eat better. That's going to make me feel better. I can work out. It doesn't have to be 5 times a week like I used to, but I can still pour into myself, and it's just a new version that I would have to adapt to. So I would just say, try to love whatever body that you're in as much as you can. So
absolutely. And what do you do in your spare time when you're not working, or is it like mainly spending time with your daughter? But
so I would say mainly spending time with my daughter. I try to work out when I can, or just listen to like a podcast or something that's gonna get into me. But most of the time, my free time is with my daughter. And even if it's not free time, like it's still like personal time that I'm not working.
Honestly, that family time is what so many people, like when people have to go to 9 to 5s. And they're like, I want vacation. It's usually, they imagine it with their families, So it's like the fact that you're able to do that even while you're working, and be around her is just awesome. So I just want to say thank you so much for coming on this show. This has been amazing. This has been C.HR with Ariaunstewart. And Kim, if you want to give people like a real quick, like where they can find you, where they can order the Try Power Bites from.
Okay, perfect. So my website is www.trypowerbites.com. I also have Instagram, which is vibewithtribe_, and on Facebook you can find it on Try Power Bites LLC.
Awesome. And I also want to give a shout out to the Association of Black Business and Professionals. They're an organization that comes together with Black business owners and working professionals to provide resources. Thank you so much for listening.